I so hate going against Daddy's wishes. After all, I'm supposed to be the good daughter in the family. But what can I do? I'm 15 years old now and I haven't seen the outside world like my dear sister has. She's been going out alone forever and Daddy doesn't stop her. I know I'm his little girl, but I'm sure the world isn't like he tells me. I look at the entrance to this snazzy looking club with that huge neon sign that just beckons me to enter. Dear sister tells me I'm too young to enter these places, but the man outside takes one look at me and lets me in. I'm sure my dear sister will be fine with me borrowing her dress. It might be a little revealing, the plunging neckline and the hem barely reaching my thighs, but it did get me in, didn't it? In here everything goes by in a blur, men and women barely able to keep their hands off each other, women dancing in cages, drinks being poured at the bar. The moment I take a seat, a man swoops in, his eyes travel up and down my figure. He's dressed in a smart suit, his hair perfectly shaped with an edge to the spikes, and a breathtaking cologne that I can't miss. Daddy told me not to talk to men like these. He said whenever a man looks at my body more than my face, it's time to leave. But I've seen my dear sister with men like this before and they all turn out well. He speaks like such a gentleman, complimenting my hair, my smile, very delicately running a finger on the surface of my exposed leg. I don't know why Daddy was worried. I can't believe my night out is going so well. This man is such a sweetheart. He tells me he's a reporter who's cracked a lot of big-time stories involving murder, kidnapping, or sexual assaults. He tells me he can't say more or he'll have to kill me. I laugh, as does he. There's something so funny about sarcasm and irony. I've been starving ever since I left the house, but I don't want to tell him because my dear sister tells me men think only little girls can't control their hunger. Daddy says that's one of the reasons why he doesn't think I'm old enough. But then this gentleman tells me he wants to get something to eat, and he knows just the right place. My dear sister tells me not to trust men who want to take me somewhere I don't know, but he seems like the right person. He takes me by the arm and we head out. He brings me a meal that I can't where he got from, although his thoughtfulness makes me forget why this is a problem. I still feel hungry even after eating. He laughs it off, saying he knew this would happen. He gives me something to drink and says it'll be fine and I'll feel better. My dear sister tells me certain men like to take advantage of impressionable women. Yet, I look at his face and can't help but oblige. We walk along while I start feeling lightheaded. Maybe it's because he's been spinning me around, but I see the world moving on its own too. The man looks amused at my dizziness and holds me close, asking me where I live. I tell him Daddy isn't home and I've got my own room. This makes the man so much happier. He remains a perfect gentleman the whole way through, even happily agreeing to come home with me, saying he wants to make sure I'm okay. My dear sister tells me she's been in similar situations before, but I'm not sure if men accompany her this way or not. We reach home and we go up to my room. I turn around to welcome him like a good host, but he doesn't look like a gentleman anymore. He locks the door behind him, turning around slowly. This time, I don't see any kindness in his face as his eyes squint. Before I can ask what's wrong, he slaps me in the face, grabs me by the shoulders and flings me onto the bed. A grin forms on his mouth as he unclips his belt. He tells me he lied about being a reporter and that he promised himself this wouldn't happen again. He just can't resist seeing an innocent girl. Some would call this a crime, but he can't help it because it feels good to force himself on girls like me. The smile on his face slides off when he sees me laughing. He asks me if I don't understand what he intends to do with me, but I find it funny how innocent he is. After all, I didn't lie when I told him I was still hungry. Daddy didn't think I was old enough, and I'm so happy I proved him wrong. My dear sister never found food when she was my age. I know Daddy will be proud of me. I did control my hunger this far, and I see it now as he moves the secret cupboard aside and enters with a smile. He can be so absent-minded. The knife in his hand is still dripping blood from the last man we had in the house. Looks like he forgot to clean it again. My dear sisters brought so many delicious men over the years, and I was so sure I was ready too. I see it in her face as she enters after Daddy, that look of pride in her face. She let me make the first cut the last time. It's only fair I let her slice this man up to return the favor. My guest looks so funny trying to pull his pants up as his face contorts in horror. I'm usually right, and I can tell he's going to be a screamer. Lucky for him, we love to hear our food shriek before we eat them. It just makes it tastier for some reason. And I really am so hungry. It tends to get messy when we prepare our meal. Too bad this dress might get a little dirty, but maybe the blood stains can be a souvenir from my first night out. After all, I'm a big girl now. The victim was an escaped convict who had sexually assaulted many women before. The family was apprehended years later after many mysterious disturbances were linked to them. The man's remains were found, among others, in the refrigerator kept in the younger daughter's room.